I'm Jen and welcome to the Firespiral Friday Roundup. So the first thing to remind you about is our Afghan Aid fundraiser. We've donated 14 fantastic Firespiral prizes that you have a chance of winning simply by donating to our chosen charity, which is Afghan Aid. Now there's a link that you need to use to donate, and then once you've made your donation you can fill in another form on our website that enters you into our draw. And for every £2 or equivalent in your own currency that you donate to the charity, you'll get one entry into our big prize draw. We're going to draw the winning tickets on the 20th of September, so you've got about another week and a half to enter. It's obviously a really good cause, and there's a few £1,000s worth of prizes, and actually your odds are pretty good. Even if we reach our £5,000 target, the number of tickets in the draw still gives you a really good odds for winning a prize. One of the prizes I have here is a blanket, a Charters Moss Bifrost Twilight, which is a really beautiful double blanket. And there's lots of other things. There's wraps, there's things that aren't wraps, there's something for everyone. And so, yeah, if you can enter or share with other people who might like to enter, we need as many people as possible, really, to try and reach our target. Because I can't imagine not being able to keep my family safe, and so this is the least we can do, isn't it, really? So there, that's that, and yeah, I'll put a link in this blog post to how to enter, but it's very simple. And the other thing I was going to tell you about is blankets. We've got some new blankets being woven at the moment. The process is a long one, so where are we? September now, and they're probably not going to be ready for another month or two. But we've got 4 different blankets on the loom. We've got a Greystoke inspired blood moon type blanket. So if you know what that wrap looks like, then you could imagine that's a Winter Hill. And we've got a Halcyon Chryso-Murmuration inspired blanket as well. These are all king size. We've got a Rosewood Dendron Birch Trees one, that's an old wrap now, but that's a beautiful sort of warm, dusky pink against a dark browny background. And we've got a Winter Wovenland exclusive blanket. So obviously all our blankets are woven in small quantities. We've got 25 of each of these. None of these are pre-ordered officially at the moment. Yes, so the other thing is that I've been putting off or organising a pre-order that people want us to make for a red Earth Glasto blanket, because it's really difficult to get the colours right. So the process for this is my little book of colour swatches, because we don't get the blanket yarns dyed to order. They come in a stock range of, I think it's 69 different colours. This yarn is very special because it comes from when big factories manufacture t-shirts or whatever. There's lots of offcuts, because obviously the bigger the manufacturing, the more waste there is, and all that sort of brand new fabric waste gets swept up and chopped back down into fibres and then respun into this yarn. So this is taking offcuts of cloth that would have gone into landfill and repurposing them. And obviously in our production we have no waste at all. There's no excess cloth that gets put in the bin. So it's a really good use of something that would have otherwise go to landfill. So these are our colours, and so obviously with 69 colours that gives us some range but we often have to create our own colours by blending them together, and we do that by alternating 2 or 3 yarns, and it's a bit like colour mixing, but we can't really guess the final outcome Exactly. So I've been doing it for years now, and I've got a good eye for it. And I can usually, if someone says, "Can you match this colour?" I can usually have a good stab at finding the right colours that will give that sort of effect. But it's always a bit of a mystery, a bit like most artistic things. You know, when you pull your pot out of the kiln or whatever, you don't really know what it's going to look like until it actually comes out. Yeah, and so the red earth needs a sort of terracotta colour, and we don't have a terracotta, and so like we've got this sort of burgundies and these lovely bitter orange kind of colours, but I don't have the exact colours, and so I have to think of a creative way to recreate the essence of that wrap as a blanket, and I'm struggling. So this is my new shade card. My old ones are these. They're sort of, because when I'm talking with you about making blankets, I have to sort of put bits of them together and say, look, can you imagine these two together? And so they're all ripped up and folded, and I concertina them to take photographs of two colours together, and so they're in the right state. It's one of the most fun parts of the job, really, choosing new wraps, choosing new blankets, designing new designs. Tamsin has been putting the summer to good use, and she's been trying to come up with a new geometric pattern inspired design. So maybe at some point you'll see that coming to fruition. But often the process is a bit sort of all over the place, and it takes us a long time to sort of come up with the new things. So I think that's everything I was going to tell you. My kids have mostly gone back to school. You might be able to hear my eldest in the other room with his mate chatting. And our puppy is now 15 weeks old, and he's a handful. And I knew that new puppies were like new babies, but you know, when you just forget what new babies were like. And so he's sleeping at the moment. That's why I'm trying to keep my voice down, and I'm trying to work around him. But yeah, I'm a bit frazzled because of that. But I've been enjoying the nice sunny weather. So I've rambled now. I don't remember what I was going to say. At some point we're going to be planning some new cloth. Obviously our Chryso collection has gone down really well. We have some older wraps in stock that are beautiful. It's worth having a scroll through our shop, and there's lots of those that are underrated. If they're still in the shop, they're underrated, they're beautiful. But the Chryso collection's got down really well. Some of them, I think some of the murmuration, I think, we're down to the last few metres on the roll, and the Water Witch Cirrus murmuration, we're pretty much out of that, so we've only got what is in stock. Yeah, I've forgotten everything else I was going to say, so it can't be that important, can it? Right, okay, see you next week.